And drum roll. Oh, we got two special guests. Welcome, everybody. We got Freedom by 40 and
Dun, dun, dun.
Real Blood Broker!
yes, I'm glad you took it over. Yes.
An awesome, super surprised guest.
Yeah, super surprising, super excited. Just last minute decisions here. So we got a foursome going, and Cat's not involved. So sad for him.
Yep, he's doing his workcation thing out there. He was in the California redwood forest yesterday, snapping pics up at the sky. It was really beautiful. So yeah, we're so glad that you both are here, and I'm going to take advantage of the opportunity to talk a little about Elliott wave theory, and maybe Real Blonde Broker will share with us some of her harmonics if she wants to, or whatever, just whatever she wants to talk about. Really, she doesn't have to share anything in particular, just whatever she feels like talking about.
Cool.
But,
Fair game.
That was great.
Yeah. I mean, let's see. Basically, Matt is the GAN level maestro extraordinaire, who can pretty much, his charts almost feel like they predict the future. And then I do a lot of sort of looking for short-term price action among the different retracement levels and fib extension levels and moving averages and Ichimoku cloud and that kind of thing. And then Rebecca does harmonics, really beautiful butterfly harmonics, and we've heard her talk about the wick-off setups, patterns, and just patterns really.
Yeah.
And then Freedom, you also do Elliott wave theory, and you've got a specialty, right? You like to do
crypto
and miners.
Yeah, well, I'm more. I do cover other stuff, but yeah, I lean towards the weirder stuff, I guess you could say. But I do like short term more. I benefit a lot from Kat and Matsby's longer term stuff, and then I think you and RBB are a little shorter term, so it's a nice mix. But I like longer term too. I don't know why. I just enjoy some of the smaller time frames. Not too small, but I kind of like the smaller stuff. It's just fun.
Yeah, same here. I'm trying to sort of adopt my trading style to be more like Matsby and just buy big support levels.
Yep, me too.
And hold them for a lot longer than I used to. And now I'm doing more of the short-term trading with like vertical spreads and stuff in options in a cash account, but not so much with my big retirement account.
Nice.
Yeah. So let's see. Oh, I throw this up here that Bitcoin it's just been going up and up and up. People have been kind of worried lately that it's faltering somehow, but it's just only because we got a new all-time high, and we're down off the all-time high, but we're still higher than the previous all-time high. Remember when 112,000 was like that top for, well, there's 112,000 right there, was the top for a long time. It's kind of made this little triangle here between here and there, and it's gotten over the top of the triangle and is testing back to the top of it. I think it wants to go back up again. So I threw this 8-hour chart on here and was showing my subscribers that it looks like it got support with the 8-hour. Here's the Ichimoku baseline. That's the brown one. This is the baseline right here. And if I get really close, you can see that, it just kind of, it went down to the baseline and then closed back up above it. And we're kind of, it's almost making like a little pennant or a triangle as well. You could kind of imagine something like, something like this. So triangle, lots of converging resistance trends with support trends. That's what my triangles are all about. I just kind of look at the top trend and the bottom trend, and they usually get squeezed into the little point here, and then come out with some explosive force. But I don't know. Instead of me just talking for a while, Freedom, do you want to just start anywhere in particular? Did you have any?
Oh yeah.
I mean,
I'm curious about Freedom's Bitcoin charts right now, actually, just to see what
Yeah.
you're seeing.
I'm pretty much in the same boat here. Let me share. I'm in the same boat as you, Steve. Let me know if you guys can see that.
Yes.
Let's see here. I'm actually getting. So I have the same sort of idea. Basically, for me, I'm counting this as a 1, and then this as kind of a corrective channel here to the 0.618. And then, like you, I got some weirder stuff on here. I was probably doing really
Oh
short.
yeah, when you get close up, we throw all the weird things on it. We're just trying to see the really close up price action.
Yeah. So right now, I'm basically hoping we hold this area, because if you get real weird down here, you got a nice. I think this is an impulse for
Oh yeah.
one. So I'm just trying. You can kind of tell, like you said, we're trying to kind of base out here.
Yep.
I would like to take this out, just to, just in case this is a impulsive down. This doesn't look the best here. Starting to look better, so I'm happy about that. I still have, we're out of the channel, at least my little channel. But yeah, I'm hoping we can get a real move and take this out, and see some actual price action here to the upside. We could also get something like this. This is not ideal either, in my opinion. But we could be setting up, something more bullish. But right now, I'm just looking to hold this. I don't know if this is like an A, a B, and a C, and we're going to come back into here and then set up like something more like this, where we can actually get out of here. But that's probably way too short term for most people. I mean, really, I'm looking for kind of like you had. Basically, all this junk we just went through, I'm looking to get a wave 1 out of here, right? Something maybe like this, and then probably, come back and make everybody upset again. Test this, and then kind of the bigger picture is more of, I think this is essentially our last. I mean, it can go, pretty high, but something along these lines is kind of what I'm thinking, as long as we can hold 98K. So I think we're just trying to get, my interpretation at least, is we're trying to get a baby impulse out of here. We'll probably have to come back, and then maybe the real fun starts in October, which, would kind of line up with the seasonality stuff. But we could also just rocket straight out of here. But that's kind of what I'm seeing. I still think there's a chance, if we don't get, enough here, we could roll back over and maybe hit, 105, 103 would even really be okay. I don't want to, but I'm in the cautious, hopefully cautious stage, I guess, and trying to get a nice move out of here in 5 waves. But right now, I don't think we quite have it yet. So that's kind of where
you're right. Matt, let me show my screen again. I just want to show this, what I kind of look for here in this Bitcoin. Thanks. So right here, I've been talking about, I don't know if you heard me talk about my moving average 75, and it's basically the perfect meld between the 100 and the 50. Lots of traders they're all looking at the price in relation to the moving average 50 and price in relation to the moving average 100. But if you go right to the center between the two, you really see the it's like the trench between in the battle lines there. And I've noticed that oftentimes the Ichimoku cloud falls right along with that moving average 75. This is this great battleground. And so you'll see whenever price gets to the point where it could go towards the 50 or go towards the 100, and then it gets caught right at the moving average 75. So here on the 8-hour chart, and it looks like, and then this is, I started using the moving average 300, which is, it's simply 4 times 75. And I wanted to be able to see the moving average 75 like on the chart that's 4 times larger than, so like I was looking at this would be like the 1 hour, like if I go to the 1 hour chart, here's the 1 hour moving average 75, and this is the 4 hour over the top of it. And so I guess I could go to the 2 hour, and that would show me here's the 8 hour. 2 times 4 is this. This is the 8 hour moving average 75. Anyway, on this 8 hour chart, it looks like I think it could get a nice 1-2 if it just gets up and touches this moving average 75 up here inside this cloud. And what I've got is a Fibonacci retracement from the top here. This I've got 124,517. This top to this bottom down here at 98,240. Like you said, if 98,000 holds. Mm-hmm. So between here and here, this is log scale. Right in between halfway is 110,601. And what happened is with these logs is it came down to the 382 for support, gets over the 50% mark, the halfway point. And if it can just turn this into support rate like it kind of did today, then a 618 and then back to the 50% would give us the 1-2 that we're looking for. Maybe it just kind of does it right inside the cloud right here. So anyway, that's the kind of stuff I look for, and I just feel like I see it oftentimes. Like I'm looking for it because I've seen stuff like this happen before.
Yep. That would be awesome. Yeah, I just want to really get 5 waves, like you said, and get a wave 1 out of here so we can try to start turning the ship around. But I am in the camp of, it's not topped yet. I don't know how everyone else feels. I know Matt and actually I don't know RBB's thoughts right now.
Well, let's ask her right now.
Yeah, let's ask her.
Hey.
What's your thoughts? You can share your screen.
Okay, I've got a couple that I'm going between, so let's see here.
I did a quick, here's like a 1-2 in linear fib extensions. And so if this is the 1-2, then we could get like a 100% extension be 117,000, 238.2% fib extension be take it to 126,000. Just so like in 5 waves. The way I usually have them, it might be like 764, 382, 1382, 100%, 2382. And just as an example, if it really did do this A, B, or this wave 1, wave 2, then this would be like wave 3 sub 1, wave 3 sub 2, 4, 5. This is my circle 3 is all of wave 3, all of wave 4, all of wave 5.
Gotcha.
That's in log scale, and this is sort of it doesn't look that different in linear actually, because the numbers are so big. But I'm sorry. Go ahead, Rebecca.
Okay, so here is my screen. I'm gonna just collapse it a little bit here, or let's see here. We'll make it a little bigger. There we go. Right here is what I was watching for that I posted, this 107,500, whether that held. Because if we lost that, we had a pretty significant drop down to here. I call this space, where it just starts dropping and it either will hit the channel or, it goes to the next band. So there was a lot of space down there. So luckily this held. We got a nice double bottom. We got a bounce. We're coming out of the downtrend, so that's looking nice. We're starting to hold the next band at 110,800. So what I kind of anticipate here is that it'll maybe bounce up probably close to what Freedom had, that 113,600 area, which would be this blue band. So you might get something like a move like this, and then it sets up maybe a shoulder. So, and then, then you'll have an inverse head and shoulder, left shoulder, right shoulder, and then a nice move to at least this 119, maybe even 123. We'll have to see. but that's what I would like to see, this 119 to 123. But, first things first is maybe wave 1, 2, and then a nice 3, 4, 5, or, something like that. But right now, that 107, 500 to 800 is critical to protect. I was a little disappointed because I honestly would have loved under 100, but I didn't want to see that air gap either, so I was like, okay, let's just like put some in here and then I'll save a little bit of powder if I get that, lower drop. So that's kind of how I played it, was to at least put some in on this drop, but I didn't put, everything I had. So, and I've never exited this completely. I've been in 48, 64, 80s, like different ads. So at this point, I'm not exiting everything. I take some gains on what I think are highs, and sometimes I'm close, sometimes it runs a little, another 5,000, but overall doing well. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking for, is to see if this can hold up as a head, and we push up and then we get a right shoulder to set up, head, left shoulder, right shoulder, and then start to push. And especially with September weakness, I just think, and gold pushing, I think we need to kind of, once gold stops, you'll see Bitcoin go. So, I want to see the gold trade start to at least go sideways or slow down a little bit, so that Bitcoin can get moving. But so far, so good. Nice little bounce there.
Nice. Love it. Your chart just
Yeah.
looks so much prettier than mine. I don't know what I got to do, but
Well, I spend a lot of time on these, so
yeah.
I like pretty, so I fancy them up a little bit. But whatever pays the bills. If it's
Right.
your basic chart,
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And a lot of people probably like your charts better, because mine probably confuse people or get too fancy sometimes, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
All
So,
right. And I'll share my Bitcoin real quick, and then we can maybe move on to, I think some people are really curious about some of the miners like Iron and Cypher. We can talk about those pretty soon, but here we go. Let me just switch my screen. And yeah, what I'm watching for Bitcoin is essentially that 109,600. I was watching that to get reclaimed, and it did. And I want to see it hold, right? If it does hold, then there's no need to go back down to the low 100s here. But essentially, there is going to be layers of resistance along the way. Like this previous support that was lost, it's got to reclaim that. That's around 112, right? And then also this big zone up here at 116,800, that's got to get reclaimed as well. So there is some levels to get back above to get a lot more bullish. But I think the prerequisite is essentially it's got to stay above 109,600. And if that's the case, then it's just going to keep building that base and go higher. But we'll see. There was a couple of days, 4 days in a row to be exact, that it spent time below it. So now's the time to show if it wants to really stabilize above. So that's basically what I'm watching. But yeah, let's actually move and switch gears to some of the miners, some of the high flyers. And before we do that, I kind of wanted to just show WGMI how it's really breaking out now again. It's breaking back above this 2022 high back in February of 22, and that's 30.51. And this is really looking like it is ready possibly to go to the fib extensions above, because it already broke out and back tested the 886. So I think we could be looking at the 50s, 70s, and above in the future, which would be super bullish for a lot of the miners. And some of them, especially like Iron here, I think what we're seeing is it's attempting to break 2021 all-time highs. And last week it failed, but this week it has another opportunity to do so, and that's 28.25. What about you guys? What about you, Freedom? What do you think about Iron?
Yeah. So Iron looks great. I thought I had the same. You want me to share mine?
Yeah.
Let's see. Hold on here 1 second. Yeah, so Iron looks really strong, obviously. Let me see. I think I gotta go actually over here. Where are we at? Iron. Yeah, so I had this as like, let me get out of my small time frames. We all had some confluence with this area, this 28, 29 area. You guys had the 0.887 fib, and then I had, it as an internal target, I guess. And then I'm still looking for higher here. I thought we would chill out here for a second. Maybe in a 4, and kind of chill for a second, but I don't see it really slowing down, at least now. So this was like my, base case target was basically $30, but I think it can go kind of like you guys. I'm still holding my iron. So I'm not taking my own advice. I said once it gets up here, I would at least trim a little bit, but it just looks too strong. So I'm in the boat with you guys. I just can't see it, with the tides that I think, the tide that will lift all boats, I guess. I think BTC is still going to help even the crappiest miners, at least somewhat. So I can't see iron just all of a sudden, topping out or anything right here. And then I'm also in agreement with the index. So I have this as going towards like 73-ish, just a little bit different look, an Elliott wave. But I essentially have it as, a diagonal, basically. You got A, B, C, and then you got A, B. You got A, B, C, and then you got A. Here's the fake out when everyone hated me. December fake out. This is also a B, I think, right? An A, a B, and a C. And then I think now, essentially, we're in, it's a little hard to see probably, but an A, a B, and then a C all the way up here, which is really the top area. I'm targeting like 73-ish. Of course, there's fibs above that too, but that's kind of my base case is like 73, which I think lines up with yours. But as far as internally, I think we're basically in the middle of this third. So there's 2 sets of C waves really, but it's really an A, a B, and then this would be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I probably should have cleaned up this chart a little bit, but hopefully you can see that. But yeah, that's kind of what I think. For the index, I think it has higher to go for sure. What was the other one? Cypher?
Yeah, Cypher.
Cypher. So same idea here. I think it's literally just a few, like maybe like a week behind iron, something like that. It's pretty much the same setup. At least it looks like it to me. So I have it as, again, an A, a B, and then this big long C up towards, 15 to 21. I think right now we're in the middle of the 3, this being an A, B, C. And then I would think we'd get some sort of chill out here. Doesn't have to be insane. But, maybe a triangle, wave 4, and then still higher. And again, there's higher extensions here. But I don't have insane targets. I just, for me, up here, but I'm open to higher. It's just, that's kind of what I got for Cypher. So I think iron, for example, is like at the top of this 3 already. And then it ideally would chill, but it may not. May just keep pushing. But I basically think this is almost a carbon copy of iron. I know the fundamental people get mad, but technically, it looks very similar.
You don't have to worry about that here, though.
That's good. That is good. Yeah. I'm not the most up to date on. I am glad I listened. I listened to a lot of iron people. I think they got like one of the best, fundamental groups. So I did get. It's actually my wife's, but we put a lot of money in iron. I'm still not as big as CLSK, but it's overtaking MARA now, just by how well it's performing. But yeah.
Speaking of CLSK, though, it looks like it is bottoming right now, and it feels like just even in August was the low, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. So CLSK is just. So again, this is where. So I think this is a 1, 2. I still think it's in threes, so like an A, a B, a C, and then this is another, so like basically what happened on, I'm gonna have to try to move this, but I thought the 4 was already in here, which would have been, deep enough for a 4 already and long enough compared to the 2. You got a short 2. But for me, I thought this was the start of something here. And this is when I made my famous December calls, which backfired. And then we ended up getting a more complex correction. So I think we're bottomed out here, like you said, and then now we're just trying to turn in this. I think we're working on trying to get up here. I expect this area to be pretty heavy resistance, which I'm sure you do as well. So somewhere around here, I'm thinking if Bitcoin will cooperate, and then, somewhat of a chill out. And then I'm thinking up here towards, 36, which has really been my target forever. Even back in 2023, could obviously go higher as well. But for now, I think most of the CleanSpark community would be very happy with 30, 36, 37, basically looking for a high above this. But ideally we get to, the $30 area. I think it's gonna, but I'm with you. I think it's bottomed out here. I would like to see a little bit more price action here. Cause it just won't, it's not bearish. It's not going down, but it's also not really making any move yet. But I think that's good overall, a good sign since it's been holding up pretty well against BTC, I think. So I'm with you. And then MARA, while we're here, looks identical to CleanSpark, right? It's pretty much a carbon copy as far as the structure. Here's that fake out again in December. And then I think we're making our way. I think we'll at least take this high at 34. And I'm looking for, up here somewhere. And this is all, unfortunately, dependent upon Bitcoin. But yeah, in the short term, kind of the same idea as CleanSpark, looking for, maybe this is when BTC heads to, I don't have crazy targets for BTC, but I do think we can make it to, 150. So maybe this is, 140. And then this is, some type of pullback, 120. And then this is, that higher 150, 175. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm thinking. Again, chill out here, maybe pull back. But first goal is to just get here. I know that'll make a lot of people happy. I know there's a lot of upset MARA and CleanSpark people out there.
Oh yeah, a lot of emotion.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's rough. But I've held them for a very long time. So for me, it's hard too because I try to empathize with everybody. I've just been holding, forever for MARA and CleanSpark. So even though we're down, it's like, it's much easier when you get in low because I'm not personally down. But if you're up here, these drawdowns suck. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's just been a long game. So I hope, I believe they will make, at least another high above these highs. Once you get past this, I hope for everybody's sake, I'm open to, higher targets on BTC and on the miners, but I'm just trying to get people to this point pretty much. And I'm kind of say, hey man, it's up to you. You hated miners for so long. Now it's probably time for you to, those people will literally be the ones who will now change, and be like, oh no, it's going way higher here, so that's kind of my thoughts on the miners.
Nice.
Hey, Matt,
what about you?
Mind if I
I
was just going to say, do you mind if I share my chart on IREN?
Yeah, I was going to ask you next. Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
Great.
Hogging the charts.
Oh, look how pretty that is.
So here's IREN, which I love today. We played this for 200% on the 28 Cs today, which I was so thrilled about because last night I was doing all my due diligence and I was, doing a watch list for options, like if IREN is greater than this, then buy this. If it's less than, do this. And I did that on about 5 names. And then when we opened, red by 7 points, it like killed my watch list. It took half my moves. But that was one of the ones that stayed. I was like, oh my gosh, it's holding the level it needs to. So I'm like, get in. So like that was awesome. But what I love about this chart is just how perfectly it behaved. You've got, this beautiful cup coming out, and then the pop, and then where does it do? It comes back and tests the perfect level of the cup and bounces. And it's like, this thing is so textbook perfect. And it did this too, where it retested the EMAs of my ribbons and the cup and bounced. Like, I love this stock just because of its when they behave how they should. Because you get some stocks like, for example, hymns, TEM was one too, like where some days you're like, do I even want to hold this? Is it worth the headache? Because you didn't know if you were going to be up 10 points or, if you were going to be down 20. Like you just didn't know. But this has behaved so beautifully, and I would love to see it come in and gap fill around this, 24, 24.50, and then bounce. I think it's headed towards this 55 to the 3.4 fib extension. Personally, maybe by, end of the year or next year. But this, I have shares in the single digits. I wish I had bought more. It was one of those where I like bought them and I just wasn't really paying attention, and I didn't even buy options on it for a while, and all of a sudden my shares were up 37%. And I was like, okay, clue in, blonde. Like, hello, you might need some options on this. So anyway, it's just been textbook beautiful. And you can also see, a harmonic here. This is, your deep crab extension where you get that W and bounce. So just absolutely textbook with, cup, handle, cup again, and it just, keeps forming these cups and bouncing. So beautiful textbook stock. I love this. If you're a person that does TA, this is textbook pretty. So anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there. Just a beautiful chart.
Nice. Do you got a Cypher one too, or no? You playing that one?
I am in Cypher. I haven't done it as much, but you definitely had head, and this is what I'm talking about on Bitcoin. Head, shoulder, shoulder, spike. So, now it you just ride this until these wicks come back down. But, looking really beautiful with inverse head and shoulder. So this was your head here at $1.75, which I wish I bought. I didn't. I was closer to around this 410, I think, area. But really beautiful left shoulder, right shoulder, and nice spike up. But definitely liking Freedom's chart on this, watching that a bit, and watching those levels. But yeah, really nice look here. So
Very good. What about Tracker? You've been quiet. Do you have any iron, or you have any thoughts?
I don't know. I mean, I think you guys covered it pretty well. I did. My IREN chart's kind of wait, not IREN. My Cipher chart is kind of cool. I was just looking at this. Is it Cipher? No, it wasn't Cipher. Hang on. Sorry, I was. What was we were looking at after IREN?
We were looking at after iron. We were at Cipher, CIFR. Yeah.
there was Clusk too, CLSK.
Yeah,
How was it?
CLSK.
CLSK chart. That's the one.
Yeah.
Thank you. CLSK is kind of interesting because, like, on the linear scale, what everyone's used to looking at, it just kind of looks like this. But when you go to the log scale, it's got this really cool triangle. It's very symmetrical looking. Oh, I kind of gave away what I was doing in here. But on the CLSK, it's got this beautiful symmetrical triangle where you spend, this much time here, this much time here, this much time here, and here. And then now this trend line, it's formed sort of a bullish, it's a bullish wedge down, kind of basically. It's making a new triangle on top of the triangle. And I think what it wants to do, yeah, exactly. It kind of broke out, but then now it's sort of oscillating around what was the resistance trend is now becoming the support trend. And then, yeah, once again, I think I'm expecting it to do something like, this from here. And then if you go back and you pull up the visual range volume profile, and you can see the point of control where, the most shares traded at this price is exactly where it's been, oscillating around in this triangle here. And so now it's this point of control is becoming the support, or it's about to become the support. And it's also the center pivot point, the halfway point between the all-time high and the all-time low at $12.07. So once it gets over 12.07, then maybe you can do this sort of 702, 618, 886. Then from the 886, it might have to retest back a little bit. But, the magic thing is that Cat and I've shown you guys again and again is once it gets over the 886, that's where it just kind of takes off from there. So this sort of becomes your, giant cup. And then you get a bunch of handles. Like this will be a handle, but then you'll get another bigger handle on the outside. Kind of like this. Maybe I don't know about the 618. By the time it's up to the 50s, it's not going to get back to the 20s. Yeah, oh no, not even. Yeah, maybe. I don't know, something like this. You'll end up getting these big cups and handles and lots of little handles that form more and more handles and keep going up. Anyway, that's all I could have to show about that. What was? Yeah, go ahead, keep going. I was working on this GitLab request for later, but you guys keep talking about.
I think since RBB is here, everybody wants to know about your coin chart, RBB. So I think,
please.
I think it's best to get that out of the way because everybody wants to know. Oh no, she's
okay.
Oh, there
Okay.
she is.
Okay. Let me. So, I'm gonna warn you right now. The coin chart before I put it up here. Hold on. Is in preliminary area. I'm just getting it fixed here. Let's see. Hold on. Because I jumped on here kind of last minute. Okay, so I'll show this a little bit here. Let me see. Let me share my screen. Okay. So I need to move it down. So this is kind of new. I mean, I'm a Wyckoff girl. So last night I was kind of trying to line this up. And it started to line up pretty well here. Where we got, let's see, how did I have this last night? It was prettier last night. Oh, there we go. There it is. Okay. So, it looks to me like we are starting to get some traction on coin. I need this line to hold. This is like the 295 line. Right now, it appears to be catching everything, and it's still early, so I don't know if we're going back to this to 350, 370. I can't say that yet. It's not really, this ribbon, I want to see it in it or above it. It isn't yet, but it's touching it. So, I have hope if Ethereum and Bitcoin and the miners all start to run, but I believe we are in this spring phase. Can we stay down here longer? Yes. Can we keep accumulating? Yes. It takes a while for market makers, for the CEOs, the people that want to be in this stock to get into it. So we can stay down here for a bit longer, but I really think that, we are coming in to this spring stage, that this 295, that is your line. It has to defend 295 area. If it hits 294.3, am I going to panic? No. If it hits 290, probably. So, you want to give it a little bit of room, like over here where it, wicks down a little bit. But sometimes I have people on Twitter that's like, real blonde, it hit, 294.98. What do we do now? And it's like, okay, that's 2 cents. Like, that's negligible. So I want to see this hold, but it needs to get into these EMAs, which it has not yet. So I'm cautiously optimistic, but see how over here on the left side, maybe I can make this a little bit uh, bigger. Let me stretch it out. It's going to lose the form, but you'll be able to see what I'm talking about better. See how when it gets above like the 9 and the 13 and the 21 day, how it starts to run, and I'm above it. And every time I touch it, kind of like Cat's clouds and Matt's GAN, when it touches it, it bounces. So you want to be on the upside of the trend and not the backside. And we are on the backside. So we need to see that start to reverse. Maybe we're kind of in an area like this, for example, but we're not even in between the bands yet. So this is a problem. We've got to get, at least 310 and then into 320. Until then, we're chopping down here. So this 295 to 310 is your kind of dead zone for coin. And if it can start to get moving, I think, there's a chance that we'll be coming out of this spring phase. We just haven't sprung yet because we haven't been in the correct, we're not in these EMA yet to actually get moving yet. But we want, look at the difference over here when this is above the EMAs versus we're on the underside of them. So 295, really key to continue to hold, continue to consolidate, continue to see some volume and some accumulation. But until we get 310, 320, we are not in the ball game yet.
Yeah, I'm
So,
seeing the exact same thing. Yeah.
yeah, and I was going to say, Matt, a good policy right here is to sell premium, or if you have shares, covered calls, because until, a 330, 320 covered call is really good because we're not in here yet. So like, they probably won't take your shares away for a while, or at least, a few weeks till that starts to move. Or, you could do a 280 sell premium on a 280 put. And, worst thing would be you would be assigned at 280 on those shares. So, something like that. There's ways around this when a stock isn't really moving, which is the case on coin right now. We just need some different EMAs taken back, but I really do think we're in this spring area. We just aren't ready yet.
Yeah, I agree. What about you, Freedom? Are you trading coin?
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. Let me see here. I'll pull up mine. I'm not a coin master like RBB. I do like coin. I don't have any yet, but I'm thinking about getting some. I basically have this as a 1, a 2, a 3, and then this really complex 4, kind of like the miners did, but stronger. And then I have this. This gets a little bit weird here, but I basically have 1, a 2, an A, B, C, 3. And then I think this is possibly an overshooting B. That's what I'm thinking. So kind of like an A right here, a B, and then this would be your C, which I can't remember if this made a another low. That's kind of what I was looking for. Yeah, it did. So I think this could be in here, kind of like RBB was saying. Or like worst case, I think would be the next fib down. And I want to check to see if this is valid. It's kind of high for a B wave. So it's a little higher than I would like for a B wave, but it's still possible. And this was 3 waves up. So I kind of have it as a 1, 2, and then this is your 3 with the high volume. So something like this is kind of hard to see on this small of a scale, but something like this. And then I was looking for one more low, which it looks like we got. So I think this could be done here. I'm just kind of waiting, like you guys, for this to kind of push and give us some more info. But I'm targeting, up here, 600 on the lower end. So we'll see, but that's kind of my interpretation. Again, I don't follow it as closely as you guys do. I know you guys are much more, experts on coin, but that's kind of my interpretation.
Yeah, very nice. I'll just share mine real quick too, and just show you the GAN that I'm watching for coin. It's kind of like a new one that I haven't really shared with anybody here, but essentially it's just right in between these arcs here, and it's just been like ping ponging back and forth. Hit the lower, hit the upper, hit the lower, and it just in the middle. And that kind of aligns with everything else too. Like the top of the arc is around 316, 317. The bottom was like at 295 in that area for a while. It's just been hitting that as well. So we're essentially in that zone. It's just got to break above. Once it can flip it to support, then I think it's got some traction and good to go. So yeah, it's just boring right now, but I like boring. I like to accumulate boring. So I think that actually is exciting to me, because one of these weeks, one of these months, whenever it's ready, it's going to go back to the 400s and be all joyous and happy one more time. So with that, I think a lot of people are also curious about like Ethereum and the ETH treasuries too. So we can just switch gears and look at Ethereum. Unless Tracker, do you have a coin chart you want to share?
No, you guys are good. I don't want to take up the time from our guests. They're doing so great tonight.
That's true. All right, so Ethereum, I want to get you guys' take on Ethereum, what we're seeing here. I saw just rejection at the previous all-time highs like everybody else, but the question remains, this huge previous resistance zone at the 4,000, is it going to get retested or is it not? What do you guys think? How about RBB? What do you think?
So let me share my Ethereum chart here.
Yeah.
Okay. So I haven't done a lot of fractals, but I'm trying it out here, and so far, so good. So what I figured is this is a wave 3, was to that 4,800 area, at a 4,800 plus. So basically, I took the wave 2, some of it, and I plugged it into the wave 4. And I know that wave 2s and wave 4s aren't supposed to be the same, that, wave 2s, if they're long, they, the wave 4 should be shorter, or, vice versa. So this was a fairly long wave 2.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we'll get this long of a wave 2 again, but I basically took the fractal and I, moved it up here. So far, it's working. So fingers crossed. Got the little bounce this weekend, got a little bit of a pullback, kind of, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down, and now it's holding. So, maybe we get a bounce and then one more test. This megaphone is starting to work too. So, we got a little bit of a megaphone here. So maybe, we get a bounce into like the 10th or 11th of September, and then I have a drop that, may bring us down, or actually this is into like this weekend. This bounces into this weekend, and then it would drop the beginning of next week, a little bit before CPI and the Feds, and then I have another run up, into after and kind of CPI Feds where it gets bullish, and then, if it follows this, then it comes back down right before the Feds area. So I don't know, if we get this 37, 38, I don't know. Maybe it holds this line, you know, like I'm not sure. But this is basically, I took the wave 2 fractal, I applied it to the wave 4, and I haven't moved this. So this is where it is just, I knew it was getting some sort of wave 4 pullback or consolidation. Wave 4s are choppy, they're ugly, and it's following it pretty close that, I've been able to play it and move with it. And like I said, sometimes you get these oversells, and sometimes you need them for an overbuy, which would take us to, that 5,500 into end of December, January. So, I would love to see an oversell, because they kind of love to do that so that, we would get an overbuy. But right now, that 4,200 to 4,800, and this is where your retest would come. You mentioned the retest, Matt, if we could get that, but this is kind of what I'm watching. I'm just playing with second wave fractal as a fourth wave. So
probably not
megaphone.
much more down is what you're thinking. Just around current levels or a little bit lower.
Yeah, I mean, unless it comes over here and we get this stab over here. But, I'll be watching it. I've got the fractal. I'll know if I'm right or wrong. But, sometimes people are like, you said 3,700 or 3,800 and it never went that low.
Yeah,
well,
they always are out there.
If you're an Ethereum fan, you probably should be in just above 4,000 or, some of these 4,100s, and then add here if we get this stab, kind of like Bitcoin. Like we just talked about on Bitcoin, it's holding 107. So, what I would do is buy the 107 and leave some powder in case I get that day that is just ugly. But if it doesn't come, then I don't feel like I've missed the entire move, because I was too conservative and unwilling to at least get in when it kept bouncing off these same lower levels. Gotcha. If you believe in these names, I should say, if you believe in these names. But this seems like a really long, beautiful wave 3. So this was my wave 1 over here, my wave 2. If I shrink this down, this was wave 1, 2, 3, choppy, ugly wave 4, and then looking for this 5,500 to come.
Fair enough. All right, what about you, Freedom, with your Ethereum setup?
Yeah, let me see.
And yeah, if you want to talk about some of the ETH treasuries after that too, just curious what your thoughts on like the BTBTs or the BMNRs and all that too.
Yeah. So I really wanted this to get higher. I still think there's a chance personally that this is like an internal fourth. So that's kind of.
Did you share your screen? It switched to my screen.
That was my fault. So can you guys see that?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So my thought was, this was a 1 here, and then an ABC 2, and then I think this is the third. I really like my third waves to at least make it to the 1.38, which we didn't. I mean, it doesn't have to, but I would like to see, one more high and then like more of a chill out. So maybe this would be an internal 4. So I do think we're in a 4. And RBB could be completely right. I just think maybe this is some type of internal 4. And then we get a little higher, in 3. And then, another pullback, which could be pretty substantial. Maybe that's kind of my thinking. And then my target really is in here for like the cycle like 7 to 9K. But that's kind of where I'm at. I think we're in a 4 as well. I just can't figure out if we're in major 4. So, if we're in major 4, something like this.
Yeah, and I'm not the Elliott wave expert here. Let's just put that out there right now. You could be totally right that these are, the minor waves still within the wave 3. I mean, I think we can all agree that that's a wave 3. It's just whether it's the minor 4 within the wave 3 or and maybe that wave 5 will be the major 3 wave finishes like you say, and then we get that 4 pull down like
Yeah.
Roman numeral 4, and then we get the 5th wave, which because I do believe there is more upside to Ethereum. So do not look at me as the Elliott wave technician that
it's
knows
good
all
then.
the rules.
It's
So
good
I
then.
just
It's
putting
good
that
to
out
s-
there.
Yeah. No.
I'm ready to step in. I've got something that's going to blow your socks off with Ethereum here.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you go. That's pretty much my idea. Like I said, I think this is a 4 for sure. I just can't figure out if it's, an internal 4 or a major 4. If it is a major 4, then I think this 5 is going to be pretty huge because, you usually get one extension, right? So this would be a very shallow 3. And if my 2 is right, which it could be wrong. But I think this is a 3, and if it is, which it could already be in, then you're going to get a 4. Obviously, and then this 5 should be pretty extreme, just because there's no, ideally a third wave gets up here, especially in something like as strong as ETH right now, like arguably one of the strongest, and anything in the market. So I'm just trying to figure out, if we're in an internal 4 or if we're in a major 4. I personally think it's a internal 4, but we will see. Either way, I'm expecting, up here somewhere, either in a short 3 and then a 4 like this, and then a big 5, or maybe we get a bigger 3 here, then we get a 4, and then we get like more of a normal 5. So I will stop hogging this and give it to Steve.
Oh, you're fine. Let's see. I'm just messing around. So here's Ethereum on a log scale chart. This is the entire price history in monthly candlesticks. These are kind of fun. I like to pull these fib trend channels, and I just kind of went from support, and then the highest it's been. And so it's been briefly in the green, like over the halfway point, under it, over the halfway point, under it. It's due for another swing over the halfway point of the green part, which of course you can see by the numbers takes us into like the the teens, the 14,000s, the 40,000s, and such. And to support that idea, here in Elliott wave linear trend-based fib extensions from the all-time low to this high to this higher low would give you what you need for, say, your larger 1, 2, and then it's not really. It's kind of too low for like the 3 would be way up here. But actually, what I'm kind of thinking of is like it's high enough that it already hit. It went past this 2618 from this extension. From this 1, 2, it went up past the 2236, and the 261 was 37,000. We got all the way up here to almost 5,000. So I'm just going to call this 5 waves done, even though it doesn't look like your traditional. It's almost, let's just say something. I'm really kind of messing around with this. But anyway, by calling this 5 waves done, I can now just say that this was an ABC retrace. And then I take the whole thing and I go from here to the wave 5 top and then to the bottom of the retrace. And I call this the whole thing becomes a larger degree 1, 2, like this, 1, 2. And so now it's really just working on the third wave here. And one of the things I show on the show all the time, the morning show lately, is how I'll have these Fibonacci, the log scale retracement levels on the left side, and then the Fibonacci extension levels in linear. The levels start to Doppler into a certain price range, and so even if we just hit the 2236, that's like 11. That's Ethereum to 11,000, and it could go to the 2618. It went past the 2618 back over here, and that'd be like 13,608. So, I wouldn't be surprised to see something like, well, gosh, the fork could already be done. The weird thing though is that, like, this is really a 1-2. Then the 3 is supposed to be above the 1, and the 4 is supposed to be a level above the 4. I mean, really, it would be like 1-2. Something like this, and so wave 5 doesn't end until Ethereum's like Bitcoin is now, like in the 100,000s. But I could easily see it, like I said, kind of coming back up into the green zone, which takes us, what we were talking about Ethereum 14,000, I think, on the show, the last couple of shows. So that's kind of where I see Ethereum going. And yeah, I mean, I think I like the way RBB looks at the wave 2 and kind of slaps on the wave 4. That's exactly kind of how I think of these as well. And you're right. The theory of alternation with Elliott wave theory, if the wave 2 is very long and complicated, the wave 4 tends to be shorter. So I'd say RBB, when it starts to deviate from the fractal you've got, then that it's starting to move. And there you go. That's just what I wanted to give you an idea about on Ethereum. So then you look at a chart like SBET, and it's a lot easier to believe that this could easily go from where it is like $17 now, it's fighting with $17, to get over $400, over $1,000 someday in the future, as an Ethereum treasury. They're the preeminent Ethereum treasuries, I recall. They have like the most Ethereum.
I just called SBET the new GME today. My room didn't like that. I'm like, we've sold this at 124. We've sold this at 44. We've sold this at 28. I'm like, does it remind you of any other names? And they're like, don't say it. Don't say it. So they're not happy with me today in SBET. I have a little bit more faith in BMNR just because of
the BMNR. Matt will show you. BMNR is a much nicer looking chart. I don't know why I fell in love with stupid SBET, but there you go. I think it has a. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to share mine when you're done. Go ahead.
I'm done. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. So on my SBET, actually, I'll do just a couple: SBET, BMNR, and BTBT, and then I'll let you guys take over. But on SBET,
I actually need to run, so yeah. I wanted to thank you for letting me be here. I'm going to catch the rest of this because there's some names I want to see on YouTube. But thank you so much for letting me crash the party.
Did you want to finish off with any charts or no?
No,
you're good to go.
I'm good. I'm good. I'll just add to my Twitter if I see something that you guys did. But great show. Appreciate it. Thanks for letting me be here.
Thank you so much for coming.
See you, RBB.
Love having you.
All right, so here's my SBET, and actually, I think SBET, BMNR, and BTBT, like the ETH treasuries, they're looking pretty much at support right now. And just a quick little fib right here, we can see from the high to the low, and it's at the 50%. It's maintaining it, and it actually did touch it today. Finally, it didn't go back and touch it right here in July, but it touched it finally today. So, I mean, that's a bullish development really for SBET, and I think it has potential to hold. So we'll watch that 1673 going forward, and if it does stabilize, it's going to go higher. And then we can look at BMNR as well, and guess what? This is the 50% fib from a while ago, from this high down to this low. I didn't really use this wick because that wick doesn't make any sense to me at all, but essentially that 50% fib from the 2021 high to the low is holding. Right, so that's more confluence of support. It did not really touch it today, so it could go back a little bit lower first before higher. But still, I think that's really in a nice zone. And lastly, we'll do BTBT here, and I'll just take a look, and same thing, right from the all-time high down to this low, it's holding the 382, the 257. In fact, it did open this week above it, and it's still stabilizing on top of it. So if you ask me, if you look at all three of these charts and then you look at Ethereum, maybe it's telling you Ethereum has bottomed, right? Maybe it's saying that this is the bottoming range for Ethereum. It doesn't really need to go any lower, because when you put the confluence of all these together, it looks like they're at support. So with that, I want to know your thoughts about it, Freedom.
Yep. Yes. So I agree. I'll start with SBET. Hopefully that's sharing. So yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat here. I'm trying to figure out, on the smaller time frames, I agree. From here to here, this 50 fib. I'm not as bullish on SBET, just because I don't like the look of it as much. I think we talked about that as well. I just like BMR's setup a little better, mainly because there's no like real chart. I mean, there's chart history back here, but it's just essentially like there's no like it's a downtrend, right, for like a million years, and this is our first set of bullish price action, so that kind of matters for Elliott Wave. It just is, it's less reliable, I guess.
Yeah, the volume bars alone tell the story. It's like there's comparatively no volume to the left of everything.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a great point. So I'm looking for, I think this is a low here of sorts, and then I'm looking for like an ABC. I know people are looking for way higher, but I'm really just trying to get up here into this area, this box, for now. And I'm trying to figure out, this looks like, some sort of, this could go a little lower, I think. But ideally, the 0.618 of this smaller range is right here at 1563. That's kind of what I'm watching now, since we had just lost this little area. But essentially I'm looking for, once this finds a bottom, which could be in, I agree. I'm more in the camp that ETH is going to start to, I don't think there's much left, like you said, Matt, for ETH as far as to the downside goes. Because I don't think there's much left for Bitcoin. And then, ETH right now is relatively, compared to Bitcoin, stronger. So I'm looking for like a 1-to-1 off of here, which would basically be a part of a bigger C. So 1-to-1, well, these are probably these fibs right here. I may need to adjust them slightly. So hardly at all. Even if it came down to, I'm looking for something like that, and then a 5-wave move in C off of here. So something along these lines, depends how high, we get in these to project up here. But that's kind of what I'm thinking for SBET. So pretty much the same thing. I don't know if it could make another high here pretty easily. But that's kind of how I feel about SBET. BMNR, I'm a little bit more bullish on, because you have much more, I don't know why this got over here. We have much more history here. And it's just, this is why. So this could be a really long one. Doesn't look good. But I think this is a 3. And then we're trying to find, this looks like a 5-wave move to me right here. A 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then this is kind of looks like an ABC. And I'm looking for, this 0.618 is hitting almost exactly. I would think that's the low. Filled this little gap I was watching for as well. And then I'm looking for roughly up here in this sub 3 of 5 in blue. So I do think this one just looks a little better, personally. And then I also like Tom Lee. So that doesn't hurt. So that's kind of what I'm thinking for BMNR. For BTBT, I go back to my other stuff. Let's see, BTBT. Yeah, so this one looks really bullish to me. I know a lot of people are frustrated with it, but I I essentially think this is, an A here. All right, an A, a big long accumulation range. Kind of looks like a Wyckoff accumulation too, with this being the spring. RBB could definitely do better on that. I'm no Wyckoff expert, that's for sure, but basically just this big range here to me. And eventually I think we'll pop out of here and, probably stabilize up here. And then I think you're getting up here. You could also do a fractal, like basically for an ABC setup. It looks a lot like Riot. An A, a big long accumulation, and then you're looking for a C that's of similar length to the A. You could even do, I'm not the biggest on fractals just because I'm just not, but you could put, something like this basically off this B wave low, and it's relatively close, right? I kind of screwed up and got this in here, but something along these lines gets you up towards 10 to 16. So that's kind of what I'm waiting for. BTBT is one of my bigger positions, but I'm pretty confident in it. So I think this one probably looks the best just because it has so much, history. And then this is clearly an accumulation range to me. And kind of flipping this level. This is a key level here, in my opinion. Just coming back to test this as support. And then I think this might be the time we finally take out, some of this liquidity sitting up above here. And hopefully make our way up towards 10, even up to 16 eventually. So that's kind of my thoughts on all these.
Yeah, I agree. I think your fractal makes perfect sense. It looks just like a measured move, where the C wave looks like the A wave length.
Yep. Yeah. So that's what I'm hoping for. I know people are frustrated here, but it's just kind of the way it goes, right? These things are going to retrace, especially, these small market caps. So yeah, I'm pretty bullish on BTBT especially. And then BMR would probably be my second. And then SBET would be my third, as far as, my personal bullishness on those ETH treasuries.
Oh, very cool. Oh, Matt's throwing me up here. I was just playing around with this Ondo chart because I saw off from the corner of my eye that Ondo was up in after hours trading. It was like down the most this morning, and now it's right back up again. Hey, Matt, I was expecting, actually, I was surprised that we didn't get more of a sell-off on the first day of the month, the trading month today. What was your feeling?
Yeah, I think it just hit some levels, like 634 on the SPY. I was watching that completely, and it nailed it, and it bounced.
Yeah.
So I think it was a good bounce, and I think a lot of people are talking about if the tariff, if Trump loosens up on tariffs, things will pop again, right? So I think that's kind of narrative based, but the levels held today. And
Yeah.
Just with your Ondo chart, I think they were talking about the crypto, not the LSE. So yeah.
Oh no, I know. I wasn't. I got an alert for Ondo, and so I just kind of threw it.
Okay.
I didn't mean to. I didn't know who to shoot.
I didn't know you traded on the LSE. You're British, huh? Nice.
Let's see. Yeah, and the VIX didn't go as high as I thought it was going to either. 4-hour VIX. Oh, this is the wrong one. I used a different one. This VIX right here. Yeah, it didn't. It kind of went back above the 127.2, coming down, and yeah, it went right back to the 4-hour moving average 300, sitting on top of there. So I don't know if it'll do this tomorrow or it stays up here. I wouldn't mind seeing it come back down here again. I don't know. Yeah. September seasonality. I'm thinking that it might be surprisingly better than we thought it. Better than most people are thinking it's going to be.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to have some kind of major crash. I think things are just doing normal stuff.
If anything, I think the end of October 31st is when they like to make it get real scary. Well, gosh, what do we want to talk about?
I think that's about good enough for me, unless unless Freedom wants to add anything else. Any extra additional thoughts before we go?
I don't really have a ton more either. I think we're all on the same page. I think, I'm in the same boat that the September seasonality piece. I think a lot of that has been already, priced in if you believe in it. I personally don't. I can't lie. I've been the guy who's like, September's not going to be bearish, a few times, and I've gotten burned on that. But I think in this situation, most of that is most likely. I don't expect it to be like a massive month, but I also think it could be, we could get our 1-2s, right? So maybe, get out of here and get up and then, basically end up being a sideways month. And then October, we really start to move more. That's kind of my interpretation, but I'm just really looking for, this first 1-2 for Bitcoin. I think that'll I think basically everything's waiting on Bitcoin. As far as, miners and coin and MSTR and all the altcoins, I think they're all, once Bitcoin actually can get off these lows, which I think is going to happen in due time, hopefully right now. But I think they're all going to, start running. They all look great, in my opinion, compared to Bitcoin. So that's kind of all I'm watching right now.
Yeah. Yeah, same here. I mean, we're going to just take it week by week, but I think this starting off the month this way was pretty healthy. So I think it's just consolidation time until it's ready to break out above. What about you, Tracker? Final thoughts?
I think that's pretty much it. I'm looking for a stronger September than most people are expecting, because we didn't get like July. That can't have been, that can't be the big high of the. I guess because the first quarter got pushed down so hard. I'm kind of looking for 2 peaks this year, and I don't feel like July was it. So I'm looking for one more nice big peak, then a trough, and then an end of the year peak again. So I'm still looking forward to ahead of us.
Yep.
Yeah, me too.
Just making us wait.
Well,
and it has
and
been.
Thanks.
It's just been the kind of year where every single run up to resistance, it sells off almost immediately, and they spend a lot of time waiting around on the support side. That's just the kind of year it's been.
All right. Well, it's been great. We're not going to do any chart requests here. We don't have Kat to do the lightning round, but Tracker and I will take care of those tomorrow morning for you guys. Just put them in the chat. But thanks a lot, Freedom, for coming out, and have a good one.
Yeah. Thanks, guys, for letting me come on. I appreciate it. It was it's always fun to see your guys' ideas. And I follow everybody, obviously, very, very closely. I don't follow a lot of people closely, but I do follow, Tracker, Matsby, Cat, of course, RBB, Danny, so good to, come on here and, looks like everything's lining up, which is nice confluence. So appreciate you guys having me on, and hope everybody has a good night.
Oh, shucks.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
See you guys.
Thanks so much, Freedom. Thanks, Matt. I'll see you in the morning.
All right. Yes. Bye, guys.